only character you can consistently play for the rest of your life is yourself. So don't pick a character that you cannot play for the rest of your life. Indian film industry as an amalgamated singular entity is an unbelievably strong force of creative art. We are much stronger together. I would still call myself a Malayalam actor.
Absolutely.
I have no pretense. I am from the Malayalam film industry. I am doing Bade Miyan Chote Miyan as somebody who's from the Malayalam industry. Suddenly, it seemed like 3 to 4 years ago, the whole country was talking about Malayalam cinema, as though we started making great films one fine morning. I'm slightly worried about the sudden spotlight on Malayalam cinema and the sudden deluge of money into the industry, that will we then start losing perspective of why we were good in the first place. So that is something even Malayalam filmmakers have to be wary about. We are all Nepo kids. All our fathers were in the industry. Fahadh's father, Mr. Faasil sir, is one of the most iconic filmmakers to ever have been there in Malayalam cinema. Dulquer's father is, of course, one of the greatest actors the world has ever seen. There is a third film, which is a Mohanlal Jitu Joseph film.
Exactly.
And it's an iconic actor-director combo reuniting after Drishyam 2.
Yes.
So for us, it's 3 big films hitting the theatres on the same day for the holiday season.
He's the archetypal, aspirational Indian man. Somebody who has fought for art and artists at large. And the best part about it is that he's won. I don't think there needs to be any introduction to welcome Prithviraj sir to Galatta. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
And it's lovely to be in your presence, sir. I have been watching your interviews. The kind of clarity that you have in your conversations is impeccable, because a lot of times when we have conversations, we die to have conversations with people who can actually hold on to good conversation.
I hope I don't disappoint you.
You will never, I know it. But sir, I want to start off by asking that, something that I relate to you and your career is that you've never followed a conventional norm, especially as a human being and not as an artist only, but as a person. When you started off, you've actually broken a lot of norms. You've always followed your own head and heart. And in the beginning, I'm pretty sure you've been judged a lot. But today, do you feel happy and feel validated in the fact that people have suddenly opened up to the idea that you always had, and people have started respecting things the way they do?
So I've never chosen the path that I have traversed for validation.
I know that.
And in fact, the motive has always been selfish. I've done it for my own happiness. What I've done over the past 2 decades, if that means that I've reached where I am today, if I could go back, I'd start over the same way. So that way I'm happy. I have no complaints. And if at all something that I've done seems inspirational, I'm thankful for that as well. But to aspiring young actors, filmmakers out there, I need to tell you that I'm not the standard. Your standards must be much higher. So yeah, so I'm just someone who's trying to the best of my abilities, and that's the most anyone can do.
But I want to ask you that that there's a certain relatability, because when I started doing the previous job and this one, the only thing that I veer towards is to be a little more human towards our work. And sometimes I feel like people equate journalism with being a little ruthless. Similarly, I think art is also, you have to be competitive, you have to be at the top of your game. I don't think you've ever really done that with that intention. In the beginning, when you started off, when there were judgments, did it never bog you down? Did it, as a human being, did you get affected ever?
So firstly, though I'm probably not old enough to be saying this, I did come into cinema at a completely different time and age, where social media pressure and having to find validation was not such a prerequisite of being an actor or any public figure. That did help. And secondly, I never thought when I started out that I'm going to have a long career in cinema. It took me about 5-6 films as the main lead, after having completed about 6-7 films, when I realized, oh, hang on, maybe this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Post that is when I sat down and started thinking, okay, if this is what I'm going to be living with for the rest of my life, how do I make something out of this that I'm comfortable living with? So I've never really been bogged down or manipulated by what is happening around me. But I know that as time has progressed, as somebody who's working within a realm that is constantly under public scrutiny, these are forces that can decide upon you upon your acceptability, upon how people perceive you. But I also know that amongst all the noise, the best you can do is to be true to yourself. Because the only character you can consistently play for the rest of your life is yourself. So don't pick a character that you cannot play for the rest of your life.
At the same time, when we speak about what you have done today, if you go to Wikipedia 5 years, 7 years ago, if you searched any actor who comes from a particular region, especially in India, it would say a Tamil film actor, Malayalam film actor, Hindi film actor, Bengali film actor, Telugu film actor. Today, if you go, you will see is an Indian film actor who predominantly works in these many languages. There has been a change. There has been a shift in people's mindsets and people's acceptance, and you have lived through that. You've been, like you said, that you've come at a time when all this was. There was a definite divide, and today that divide is finally, the bridge is getting gapped so well. How do you see times, and how did you see times then? Did you always feel that this will happen eventually?
No, we all hoped this would happen, because we are much stronger together. Indian film industry as an amalgamated singular entity is an unbelievably strong force of creative art. We are much stronger together rather than being Malayalam, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu. But at the same time, we should be very careful about not falling for the trap where we all lose our own identities and become a faceless, identityless, mass. It is very important that we also stay true to our roots, but make sure that the cinema we make is being viewed and appreciated by people across languages and boundaries. I remember back in 2011 or 2010, I had this conversation with Mr. Karan Johar. He was making a film as part of an anthology, Bombay Talkies.
Bombay Talkies,
yeah. And back then he had offered me the film that he was making in that. I couldn't do it back then because of some other commitments. But I remember having this conversation with Karan and asking him why me. And full credit to him, he had said this back then, that, this is where we are headed to. That we are headed to a place where we are all going to become one. And actors and talent from across the industries are going to work in different parts of the country. Hats off to his vision, because that's where we are today.
This reminds me that Karan was the presenter on Bahubali, if I'm not wrong.
Even for KGF 2, yeah.
But the first one was Bahubali.
Yeah.
Sir, it's so ironic. I think it was the same hotel that we were called to do Rajamouli sir's interview, and we were like novices. I used to write for a print publication, so we were called for group interviews, and the Mumbai media didn't realize who Rajamouli sir was, and a lot of people didn't come up. And the 15-minute interview, the time that we had, we could do a 40-minute interview, and it was 4 kids, like 4 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds, and you must have met most of them today. We were sitting, and boom, it was 4 days before the release, and then Bahubali released, and everybody queued up to get that man's interview. Today, I think everybody goes, there has been that shift. How do you deal with times then, when you also must have gone through that kind of a space where people might have typecast or bracketed you as a regional actor?
I don't mind at all. I would still call myself a Malayalam actor.
Absolutely.
I have no pretense. I am from the Malayalam film industry. I am doing Bade Miyan Chote Miyan as somebody who's from the Malayalam industry. And that's what I meant exactly when I said that in the process of trying to amalgamate into this one big, powerful industry, it is very important that we don't lose sight of our roots. We don't lose our own identity. Because our strength, as much as the strength of the nation in itself is unity in diversity, not uniformity in spite of diversity.
That's true. When it comes to Salaar, I have heard that you almost said no to the film, or had to say no to the film because of another film that you were doing. Is it true?
Yeah.
So how did the whole thing pan out?
So I listened. Salaar came to me much before the world knew about the project. The world knew that Prashant was doing something with Prabhas. There were rumors floating around. He was shooting KGF 2 at that time. And he narrated the film to me, and I loved what it was about, and I said yes to it. But then the pandemic came. It struck, and the world came to a standstill. I was in the middle of shooting this magnum opus in Malayalam called The Goat Life, Aadjeevitham, which was being made across 4 years. And I got stuck in Jordan, in Wadiram, in the middle of a schedule during the international lockdown, and all the dates and everything went haywire. So I remember meeting Prashant after coming back from Jordan and telling him, listen, think I'll have to pull out of Salaar because I was in that appearance with the long beard and long hair and all that. So I said, I can't like cut all this and, I have to finish that film. And he said, okay, so let's see. But full credit to him and Prabhas and Bombay Films. Later on, he called me and said, tell us when you can join and then we'll sort of wait and reschedule the shoot accordingly. So it was because of Prashant's strong conviction that I had to be Varadaraja Mannar in Salaar that eventually I got to do the film. And I'm so thankful to him. I'm so thankful to Prabhas, to Bombay, that they thought it warranted that kind of change. And I'm sure it must have cost them a lot of money and everything. They thought it was it was worth it to be waiting for me.
No, I think it's totally worth it. I am totally rooting for you in the film. I am one of those people. I released when I was really young, but honestly speaking, I could understand it even back then. The whole idea was very new. The world was new. Today, people go back and they love the film and they love the tonality of the movie. You have done so much for Indian cinema at large, but at heart, like you said, that you also represent your space because I'm a Bengali. I wear it like a badge. You have done so much for Malayalam film industry. Like there's my teammate, my friend is a Mallu, and I remember doing an interview with Mammootty sir when I had asked him many years ago, 4 years ago, where he said that, trust me, Malayalam film industry makes the best content films.
Yeah.
It's just that it was not pushed in that zone. Today with films like which you have done and it has been pushed in markets like no other. Do you see that change? Because today Salaar is also releasing everywhere. Do you see that wave of change?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. And I am lucky to be alive and functioning as an actor, a filmmaker, producer, distributor, through the age that this phenomenon is happening, thanks largely to streaming services also. Because what they did is that they made sure that content is readily accessible and available to film lovers across the country. And suddenly it seemed like 3 to 4 years ago, the whole country was talking about Malayalam cinema, as though we started making great films one fine morning. we did not. I mean, we've always been blessed, thankfully, with great writers and filmmakers and technicians and actors, of course. And finally, we are thankful that people across the country have now discovered what is happening in this small little strip of land called Kerala down south. And they seem to like it. They seem to like what we are making. And again, I'm slightly worried about the sudden spotlight on Malayalam cinema and the sudden deluge of money into the industry. That will we then start losing perspective of why we were good in the first place? So that is something even Malayalam filmmakers have to be wary about.
But also with actors like you, Dulquer Fahadh sir, and all the legends who are still working, I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
You never know. We artists are fickle creatures. Yeah.
that's you. How are you so honest?
I mean, this is a truth. You like I said, you can only be consistent with the truth. You can't be consistent with the lie. You'll get caught out.
This film celebrates brotherhood and friendship in many more ways than one. We don't know what is going to happen. It's being touted as you versus Prabhas in the film, but I'm pretty sure that it's also a tale of brotherhood, which eventually will come through. For you, I think brotherhood has been very important, especially in the industries that we come from. A lot of people have always seen you bond with, especially with DQ and Fahadh sir, and this trio is something else. What do you remember the first time you met them, or what actually brought this friendship all together?
So we are all like, I think it's a very, very famous term in Bollywood, Nepo kids.
Oh goodness!
Yeah, we are all Nepo kids. All our fathers were in the industry. Fahad's father, Mr. Faasil sir, is one of the most iconic filmmakers to ever have been there in Malayalam cinema. Dulquer's father is, of course, one of the greatest actors the world has ever seen, and one of our biggest stars, Mammootty sir. And my dad also used to be an actor. He passed away when I was very young, but he was an actor, and he's actually done a lot of films with Mammootty sir. Like, I might be wrong, but I think Mammootty sir's first film was playing a character in which my dad was a lead and all that. So I've known Dulquer and Shah Fahadh from much long ago. But in all honesty, we started getting to know each other so well during the pandemic, because we live very close to each other in Cochin. Even with that, it wasn't like we were seeing a lot of each other. It was not like we were meeting every day. But during the pandemic, we were all stuck within 5 kilometers of each other with nothing to do. So, so that gave us a lot of time to just hang out at each other's place and get to know. And all of us share a common love for cars, and Nazria, Fahad's wife, is like the catalyst in, I don't know if you have met her. She's like this energizer bunny who will just make sure things happen.
Fab.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you speak about Salaar, you both are pitted against each other, but everybody who has worked with Prabhas borderline complains about how much he feeds them. Like how much food is genuinely made every day at that house, and it's like it's pushed down. It's of course tasty, but beyond limits. What did he feed you?
There was just constantly, every day there was food coming from his place. And, if we say, no, I don't want food today, he'd be like, why? Like, did you not like what you ate last? I said, no, it's not that. And the thing is, he doesn't eat. He'll have like the small rice and dal in a small bowl. And just beside him, I'd be sitting with 25 different things around me, and he'll be like, try that, try this, try that. But it's not just the food. Okay, that's just one part of it. He's just the kind of guy who, I've said this before, he's got this gift of finding happiness in other people's happiness. That is just a wonderful gift to have. And it is not just me. It is not just the main actors around him. He'll go around the set and make sure everyone is comfortable. And, he'll just keep asking you, are you comfortable? Are you good? Are you anything you need? And he's one of the biggest stars of our country. And I think the only person who does not know that is him. Yeah, he's just unaware of how big a star he is.
But I think South actors don't have that sense of entitlement.
I don't know. I don't know. Even when you say this South, it's sort of making it all very generic, because even between the southern states, everything differs. Our culture, the way we approach cinema, the process of getting into making a film. Of course, once you're on set, once you're in front of the camera, the process is the same everywhere. But generally, there are differences in how we perceive cinema, content, the aesthetics. So, like, a Cochin is completely different to a Chennai, which is completely different to a Bangalore, which is very different from a Hyderabad.
Absolutely.
But if you think all the actors you have met down south are much nicer than the ones you have met in Bombay, and I can only take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
Having said that, I seem to think like all the people I've met in Bombay are all so nice and welcoming, and I've never really had a bad experience from the Hindi film industry. So I can't share your opinion, or neither can I. Opinion is not the matter.
It's not the industry. I'm talking about people.
Understood. Yeah, understood.
Industry is very supportive.
Okay.
Industry is genuinely very supportive. Like, I feel that they are always there. There's loyalty.
Yeah.
That's what matters eventually, right?
Okay.
As an artist, of course, you don't have a say on the release of your films and stuff like that. You've always gone on record saying that you've loved Raju sir and Shah Rukh sir's brand of cinema.
Yeah.
But I will not ask you the typical question, what is about the clash, but do you feel like this will be a bonanza for people who are coming together and they can watch both the films together?
You're only talking to me about 2 films, but from where I'm from, in Kerala, there is a third film, which is a Mohanlal Jitu Joseph film.
Yes, exactly.
And it's an iconic actor-director combo reuniting after Drishyam 2.
Yes.
So for us, it's 3 big films hitting the theatres on the same day for the holiday season. Oh my God. I mean, this for a cinephile is your dream come true. So for me personally, before being an actor, before being a director, before being a producer, distributor, singer, anything, I'm first a film lover. And this is genuinely got to be one of the greatest holiday seasons in recent memory. I am watching all 3. I'm for sure watching all 3. I'm a big fan of Shah Rukh Khan sir. I absolutely adore the brand of cinema Rajkumar Hirani sir makes. Prashant Neel, I think, is an iconic filmmaker. Prabhas is one of the biggest stars of the country.
That's true.
And then from where I'm from, it doesn't get bigger than Mohanlal and Jitu Joseph. So,
It is a bonanza, like I said.
Yeah.
Finally, you're a filmmaker yourself. If you could make a movie of yours, which you think that was ahead of its time, and if you could make it again, or maybe give it a different context, which one would it be on a pan-India level, and you think that it will get much more appreciation and love today?
I tend to think it's meaningless to be opinionating on things in retrospective. But there are multiple films that I think I've done which today people come and tell me, oh my God, it's such a great film. But back then they may have done well, some of them. Some of them might not have done well. But back then it was just that one film that released in Kerala and you know, like say Mumbai Police.
Yeah.
Say A City of God, which was one of Lijo Jose Pellisheri's films that most people don't even, when they talk about, I don't know if you know who Lijo Jose Pellisheri is.
I've heard of him.
Okay,
of
he's a very
I've not watched.
very talented filmmaker. Very like respected filmmaker.
Yeah, I know.
So when you talk about a Lijo Jose Pellisheri filmography, most people even miss out that film. To me, it's one of my best films and one of my personal favorites. Didn't work in theaters. So there are many films that I wish, maybe, you know, I wish that those films happened today. But it is because of those films happening when they happened, I am who I am today.
Yeah.
It's because of all the successes and the failures and the heartbreaks and the lessons, I am who I am today. And who I am today is something I'm very happy with. So
absolutely. Why shouldn't you? You're an amazing human being. I learned to say that in Malayalam, but I forgot. So my friend taught me, but it's very, what is it? Ninda? What? You are amazing.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to say.
Thank you.
But before I go, when I speak about the respect that you brought in for actors, it could have been a fight, but you made it look so easy and seamless. Also with a film like L2, which is coming up with your first part, you actually made it a huge film. Do you feel the pressure, and what can we expect from it?
So I keep joking to my assistants that I am that one filmmaker who's got absolutely no pressure. Because if tomorrow the next film I do is rotten and people turn around and say, can you just not make films anymore? I can not make films anymore. I can just act. You know, I'll still have a career ahead of me. It's not like if I don't get to direct again, I'm not going to be able to pay my next EMI. So that way I have no pressure. Like, you know, no career pressure per se. But I enjoy making films and I understand that thankfully, because of what the first part of Lucifer went on to become what it did, I understand that there are expectations, there is market pressure involved. The numbers associated with the film that I'm making are quite big. So, you know, these are things you have to be aware of. I don't know if the second part of the film that I'm making is what people expect it to be. But I will not let myself be drawn into the trap of making my films for those expectations. I'll make a film that I think deserves to be the second installment of this franchise. And I'm just going to hope and pray that people like it.
When it comes to Hindi films, is there any, like you said that you regret and you missed out working with Karan on a film, on a short anthology. But is there any other like film that came to you which you couldn't do, or any other filmmaker that you would wish to work with?
Oh, wish to work with? There's a whole long list.
It's three, if you have to name three.
Sanjay Leela Bhansali. I'd love to do a Karan Johar directorial. Vikramaditya Motwane.
None of these people have offered films except Karan, which you couldn't do?
No. They haven't offered me a film. I've been privileged enough to sit and talk about cinema to Vikramaditya Motwane long back. I'm actually a big fan of Imtiaz Ali.
Yeah.
So many people. Kabir Khan. I love Ali Abbas Safar, with whom I'm finally getting to work with. I'm shooting with him. So many people. So the list is long, you know.
I just hope that, you know, there are more people like you. I know you're a fantastic artist. You stand up for art and artists, like I said. But very few are as human and without a sense of entitlement like you. And I hope that this breed continues to grow, because only when this grows will others who aspire to become actors or artists or celebrities follow the same route. And
thank you so much.
The world kinder.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
Lovely talking to you. Yay! Did I win the challenge?
Of course.
Yay!
Hi, this is Prithviraj Sukumaran. You're watching me on Galatta India.